If pop culture has taught me anything, it's that radiation makes things cooler. And after studying this subject for months now, I can confirm that, yes, it does. Pokémon Uranium is a Pokémon fan game that finally allows you to answer the one question that I'm sure you've all had when you played your first Pokémon game. Wow, this game's so cool! But what if I could stick my Pokémon in a nuclear reactor? But is it any good? Is the question I'm going to answer in this video. The game starts with Professor Bambo explaining what Pokémon are. No, I don't care if the pronunciation's wrong. I've had 10 fucking takes on this bit. I skipped through most of it though, then a dialogue option popped up and I got stuck in a loop for 3 minutes. Once you've broken free from the loop, pick a character. I think I'll choose the boy. Ah, look, a nuclear war broke out. Just give me a minute, guys. It's a good thing this bunker has enough power. Unfortunately though, the radiation from the nukes did corrupt the part of my hard drive where the boy's code is stored. So it looks like I'm playing the girl. Her actual name is Natalie, but this game is set in Australia, so she needs an Australian sounding name. I decided to name her Rad because that means cool, but also like radiation. But then I remembered, this is Tandor, and that means one thing. Australian nicknames are usually backwards, like making long names short or calling someone with red hair Bluey. So I named her Uncool. Ha! That's a 3-level joke just for the main character's name. Max, can you stop being so proud of yourself and get on with the video? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Once that's all over with, we get exposition in the form of an opening cinematic. Pokémon. Pokémon never changes. In the year 1945, my great-great-grandfather was a Pokémon trainer, back when people enjoyed the simple pleasures of training and battling with friends. But it was not to last. The world awaited Pokegeddon, but instead, something miraculous happened. We began to use atomic energy not as a weapon, but as a nearly limitless source of power. Everything was great. Then, one day, your mother, a scientist at the nuclear power plant, forgot her schizophrenia medication that day, and, hearing something, ran into the reactor. As it went into meltdown, this mentally destroyed your father, Kellen, one of the most skilled Pokemon rangers in the world. He saved his home region or something? I don't know. If you're interested in Shadow of Almir, you should probably check out another review. And he sent you to live with your aunt, because I guess keeping family close after a tragedy like that wasn't an option. That was 10 years ago. Pokémon never changes. The game starts with Uncool in her room. Immediately our aunt calls out to remind us we're gonna be late. Apparently, today's the day we start our Pokemon journey. She gives us some shoes as a present, and then we walk around the block to the professor's lab. Right outside the lab, we're stopped by this little shit. You can tell he's this game's rival because he has stupid hair. This is Theo, a literal child. In this game about nuclear energy and environmental catastrophes, our rival is a literal child. Yes, I know that most of the rivals were also children in the other Pokemon games, but this time it's different. This time, he's a year younger than us. He tells us to wait up because he thinks we were trying to get a Pokemon before him. I mean, obviously we were, but I'm not gonna tell him that. Then he runs ahead of us. That little shit stole my idea! After him! Welcome to the Pokemon Research Lab, run by Professor Bamboo, who according to the wiki is 32, but according to that shirt is already having a midlife crisis. Actually, I'm not sure what the average life expectancy in the Pokemon universe is though, so he could be. He asks if we want a job helping him study Pokemon, and we say yes. It's not really like we had a choice. I mean, what else were we gonna do? We can now pick our starter. Wait, what do you mean we have to take a quiz? The trainer aptitude test is designed to see what Pokemon is best suited to our character. We tell the professor the most important thing about being a Pokemon trainer is teaching them the glory of Caesar's Legion. He agrees and gives us a flaming Velociraptor. Epic! I was gonna call him Red because that's the color of fire and I have a mental age of 8, but then I remembered. Australian nicknaming rules. So I called him Bluey. What did you get, Theo? Uncool said, not out of genuine interest, but out of curiosity. Ah, okay then. So I got a Hellfire Dinosaur and you got a Health Food Garfield. I chose Caesar's Legion and you chose Caesar Salad. Yeah, that seems about right. Anyway, let's head out, start our journey and all that. He challenges us to a battle. We wipe the floor with him, then he runs off crying. And because we made him cry, it's our problem. We go to his house. Uncool, what did you do to my son? Cameron said, calmly. We explain how much of a dishonor to the family name his son is. He agrees, tells Theo to stop being such a little bitch, then gives us a phone. Now that Theo's been distracted by his shiny new toy, great parenting technique by the way, we can now meet up with the professor on the edge of town. He shows us how to catch Pokémon, then gives us some Pokeballs and a Pokedex. And now our Pokémon journey actually starts. Route 1. Usually you'd catch your first wild Pokémon here. What? Were you expecting me to say more? It's not a joke, there's no punchline. I'll get back to here later. After Route 1 is Kevlar Town, a town apparently not completely bulletproof to being forgettable. Please don't go, the jokes get better, I promise. The only reason I'm including it in the video is because the wiki said it's got a bunch of important things, like a bike, which I didn't get because I ran straight past. Route 2's been blocked by a landslide, so we have to go through a cave if we want to get to the first gym. Welcome to Nautok City. There's a lot of important things here, but I don't care. Let's just head straight to the gym. And it's blocked. The guy blocking it tells us that the gym leader, Mariah, is hardly ever there anymore. He also tells us that he's her biggest fan. Then he gives us a key to her house if we want to go talk to her. He would go himself, but he can't because reasons. And suddenly, her not coming to the gym anymore becomes clear. He also has copies of the key? Probably something we should be concerned about, but we just want the badge, so we go to the gym leader's house. She's sleeping, in the middle of the day, which is fair. This whole series of interactions tells me it's not like there's anything else she can do. Who are you and what are you doing in my house? I want the badge. What? How? This is the 5th time this week. How did you get in? You might want to change your locks. After telling her she might want to move towns, she runs out. Oh my god, Mariah, I'm your biggest fan. Why did you ever retire? It's called a restraining order for a reason. Now fuck off before I legally get my cat to hurt you. And now we can challenge the gym. That just happened, right? That whole series of interactions just happened. Right? I didn't just imagine all of this. Like, I know this is a fan game, but still, that wasn't a hallucination? Nautok City Gym is a normal type gym. This is the first time we get to properly test the Pokemon we've caught so far. Remember how I said I'd get back to Route 1? Route 1 is where you catch your first Pokemon with the Pokeballs that the professor gives you. And that is why I find myself fighting the first gym leader with a Gyarados named after the Route 1 bird and a level 40 Dunsparce evolution. I was gonna call it Stinger because... But keeping with the Australian nicknaming conventions, I called it Harmless. I challenge you to come up with a better name. That was easy. Now that we have the badge, we can leave. Or not. The child wants to battle. We win. He gives us the HM Rock Smash as a reward. Neat. Now that that's over with, we can head back to Mochi Town. Oh, yeah. Route 2 is blocked by a landslide. Good thing we have that HM. But we don't get to use it though, because a ranger shows up and clears it by asking some wild Pokemon nicely. Fucking filler bullshit. Once we're back to Mochi Town, the professor congratulates us on getting the badge. That's it. There is nothing further. Use the HM here. This town had no connection to the outside world till we moved those rocks. Let's go to the next gym. After avoiding getting into fights with literal children on the public beach, we finally reach Burrell Town. You can talk to the people here. Obviously I didn't because I was focused on the gym. But if you do, they tell you how backwards and vintage your hometown is. The gym here is a rock gym. It's in a cave. How original. I could do the puzzles, but I have a better idea. Talk to the gym leader. Ask for the badge. He says no. We remind him that we have a literal dragon that can cave in the entrance on our command. We got the badge! On the way to the next gym, run into this region's Pika clone, based on a Jerboa and designed after Sonic. Don't believe me? Look it up, or look at its shiny. So it's some sort of Sonic Pikachu. Oh, these motherfuckers knew what they were doing. I caught it anyway, though. Also caught a parrot, named it Christopher because pirate, that's all. Keep heading north. Up here you can find the child harassing this poor man for blocking a cave entrance because it's dangerous. We intervene and the man says it's safer if we both travel through the cave together. What the fuck? This guy really threw us under the bus like that. So Theo drags us into the cave, fight our way through all the Pokémon and get to the exit. Wow, that was actually less painful than I thought it would be. Theo runs off, there's a cave in, and then we're attacked by an amputated Charizard tail. You can kill it or catch it. I honestly don't care enough to check the footage while writing this to see what I did. I'll just add it in post. This guy shows up again. I don't know how he got here first if that was the only way through. Tells us that the Pokemon we dealt with was the reason the other ones were all rolled up. And now, thanks to us, it's safe again. But I'm still angry about earlier. Pull that type of shit again, and I'll make sure you never leave this cave. Where to now? Rockvale Town. It's a town. It has houses and a Poké Center. I don't know. What do you want from me? This town's theme is apparently a remix of a town theme from the Pokemon anime. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because to me it sounds like Barry Manilow's I Can't Smile Without You. Like, just listen. It doesn't have a gym, which means it's totally useless. But it does have a Pokemon lab. And the professor's here. Turns out they were developing some sort of device that let them talk to Pokemon. And recently there was a break-in, and all their Pokemon were kidnapped. Zoom in on scientist, zoom in on uncool. And if only there was a main character to help us find our missing Pokemon and possibly take this expensive device prototype for plot reasons. Okay, I get it. I'll look for your Pokemon. That was easy. They were literally right around the corner. Fight through the Pokemon guarding the cave, and now we can find out who the kidnapper really is. What the fuck? When did this game become Undertale? Turns out the kidnapper was some sort of onion infant? Gala kid, but close enough. Use the device on him and he tells us he's the self-proclaimed Pokemon hero. He then uses the stolen Pokemon to fight for him. We whoop his ass, he runs away, and we return the kidnapped Pokemon to their owners. Good job, Uncool. Here's the XP share as a reward. Okay. Bamboo away! Great. Now what? The only way to the next city is through another cave. Go through it. On the other side of the cave is a desert which you have to go through to progress the story, meaning this game is almost as good as Slug Terror. In Season 1, Episode 16, Eli and the gang are trying to watch a movie when, oh no, Billy the Kid and forgettable extras show up and decide to start a fight. One of them cracks the screen, waking up the Yetis that are hibernating behind it. And now their only hope is going into the cave and getting a special slug to put the Yetis back to sleep. You might not think that referencing an ice episode while in the middle of the desert works, but I did it because Slug Terror has no desert episode. I checked, thus proving that Slug Terror is better than dubbed Digimon. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, having a heat stroke in the desert. After Uncool has a dehydration hallucination about Clint Eastwood movies and mollusks, Theo challenges us. We defeat him as usual. This guy says he can take us to the nuclear power plant off the coast. He doesn't want to because he's responsible. But he can. Up here is Beale Beach City. It has a bunch of cool buildings and a gym, but right now, I really don't care about that, because this place is also the home of the Tandor Rangers HQ, meaning for the first time in years, we can see our father. Okay. We're here. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Finally, after all these years, I can finally give my dad a piece of my mind about what he did. I mean, seriously, just sending us off to live with an auntie and having no contact with him? I'm gonna tell him that what he did was really uncool. Why are you here? I'm a Pokemon trainer now. Ah, yes. I guess it was only a matter of time before you came here to challenge the gym. Thank God for that nameless NPC interrupting our extremely awkward conversation. Sorry to interrupt you, Chief, but there's a letter for you. The letter turns out to be from Theo's dad, who is currently at the nuclear power plant where our mother disappeared. Kellen says that it's really important that he gives Cameron his reply as soon as possible. Unfortunately, he can't go himself because of his job, so he asks us to go to the nuclear power plant and deliver his response letter. I'm beginning to think that being raised by our auntie was actually the best thing for us. While we're talking to the guy from earlier about taking us to the plant, Theo runs up. He says that if we're going, he's going. I can't even be mad at him this time. It just gives him an excuse to see his dad, even though it is probably a safety hazard. The ferryman contacts his boss to see if that's okay. The boss tells him to bring us both across. Don't know what he's thinking. Why isn't this man in charge? He clearly thinks it's a bad idea to take 2 children to a nuclear power plant, but he's not in charge, so we board the ferry. Cameron meets us at the docks. We give him the letter. I'm not sure what his reasoning is, but I have to respect the chief's wishes. Uncool. Your father wants you to see the ruined power plant. What the fuck, Dad? Theo's dad then suggests that maybe seeing the power plant will give us some sort of closure. He also warns us that even though the radiation is being cleared, there are still some strange Pokémon in the area. Theo asks to join us, but Cameron says because it's dangerous, he's getting sent back to the mainland. You know, the type of thing a responsible parent would do. So, do we just head down this way then? Ah yes, of course, my favorite Pokemon, Glowing Worm. See, maybe you'd be able to fund those research grants if you didn't keep losing all your money by Pokebattling children. Now that I'm at this point of the game, I've realized something. How did they develop all this nuclear power? What happened to the early Kanto region? Did the Unovan president commission the Pokehattan project? Who was Robert Pockenheimer, and was he responsible for the death of millions?
Now I am become Evolta, destroyer of the Pikachus.
Robert Pockenheimer. Oh look, we're here. What am I actually supposed to do here? So we wander around for 20 minutes, find a bunch of notes that have something to do with the story. I didn't read them though. There's a key in the back of one of them. That might be useful later. I keep getting attacked by these nuclear Pokemon. Hey Digimon, hey Digimon. Monster friends to the boys and girls. Hey Digimon, hey Digimon. Champions of the digital world. Hey Digimon, hey Digimon. Ultimate friends to the boys and girls. Hey Digimon, hey Digimon. Champions of the digital world. After getting lost for a while, I found this door. We used the key from earlier on it and go inside to find... What is that? This screen over here is glowing, so that probably means we should interact with it to progress the story. After skipping a bunch of error messages, it asks us if we'd like to execute the restoration process. Obviously we say yes. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? And then the floor caves in. A Pokemon attacks us out of the dark. We use the Pokemon speech translator on him, and it turns out he has a right to be pissed. I'm not going to say why, because it would get me demonetized, but if you just look at him, I think you can figure it out. There's no rules against Pokemon, Batman. We still slap the absolute shit out of him though. But then the radiation gets too strong, and we die. We wake up in a hospital bed. Turns out we're not dead. Give it to me straight, Doc. What's happened?
Your body was exposed to extreme amounts of radiation, but we managed to cure you.
I'm not running a fever, am I?
No, you're not running a fever. Why?
Thank God. By the way, Doc, have you been told?
Been told what?
No, stop!
I've been told uranium ore's worth more than gold. Sold my cad, I bought me a Jeep. I got that bug and I can't sleep.
Uranium fever has done and got me down. Uranium fever, it's spreading all around. They threw me out for wasting hospital time. Cameron says we should talk to our father back in Beale Beach City, catch the ferry, walk back, talk with Dad. Thanks for delivering the letter, uncool. Blah blah blah, something about strange Pokemon phenomena. Is that all? Thanks, Dad. Glad to see you care. Well, I guess I should challenge the gym now. Is that a casino? The guard stops me, saying that this is no place for children. Then he sees we're a Pokemon trainer, says battling is basically like gambling, so he lets us in anyways. It's not like he can stop us. He's a security guard. All he carries is a gun. He also gives us a coin case so we can use the slot machines. Great! Let's gamble. Crap, gambling cost me everything. I didn't even get any prizes. I completely forgot the whole point of why I was gambling in the first place. Both the reception staff and the security guard mentioned something about winning rare Pokémon. You see, this casino has prizes, like items no one cares about, but it also has cool prizes, like Pokémon. Specifically, this Pokémon, Tracton, which is basically just a glorified digger. It's also stupidly overpriced. I can't win this, but as it turns out, we might not have to. At the back of the room is a bar where you can exchange money for coins. But first, I need money. We could attempt a casino heist, but I have a better idea. You see, Bill Beach City has a department store where you can sell items. Sounds like an easy way to make money, right? Just offload unused junk, take the money and exchange it for coins. Wrong. The exchange rate for the casino's coins meant that I couldn't just offload garbage. I needed a product, something with a high enough fixed price. Something like rare candies. Rare candies sell for 1,000 apiece and there is always a demand for them. A demand that I was going to fill. I reverse engineered the ones I already had, then began producing my own counterfeit candies, cutting corners in the production to save time and money. Our candies were almost identical, except for the fact that the XP gained from them was only temporary, leaving the Pokémon weakened when it wore off. This ensured that there was always a demand for my candies. Not only did we sell to the department store, but we also dealt in the streets, giving our product the street name, Blue. Within a week, everyone was doing blue. In fact, if you purchased rare candies during this time, there was a 95% chance it came from us. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. Rival gangs were using our product even if they didn't know it, allowing for us to take control of their turf with little to no resistance. My associates and I were kings of the Poke Underground, living the life. And because we were the only ones who had access to the real candies, we began sweeping through the trainers like we had with the gangs, farming experience from the weakened Pokemon to level up our own. This was the point where we had full control of the market, supply and demand. In other words, we'd completely fixed the market. So you know what we did next? We shut it down, destroyed all the evidence, cleared out our bank accounts and left. I went straight to the casino, exchanged the necessary money for coins, and purchased my Pokemon. I named him Bob, after Bob the Builder, and because of his famous catchphrase. Can we fix it? Yes. Yes we can. And did. To this day, the Bill Beach police are still no closer to figuring out who Heisenberg was. I guess I should go do the gym now. It's a water-type gym, it's not very hard. This is the gym leader, Callie. Last name, Murray. She tells us a story about how when she was little, she went swimming and almost drowned because a riptide pulled her out and there wasn't a lifeguard on duty. Then a psychic fish saved her. Blah, blah, blah. Then she decided she wanted to become a Pokemon trainer. We defeat her. Might have taken a little longer than it should have, but that was because I was jamming out to the epic battle theme this game has. And she gives us the Tide badge. Yay, we can leave now. What's this? Bluey's evolving? And he skipped his middle evolution completely because of all of the juicing. I'm not complaining though. Well, I guess there's nothing left to do here. Time to go to the next town. What was that? Our dad shows up and tells us to look out over the ocean. Turns out the reactor just went into meltdown. Kellen says he has to go rescue people, then tells us to get out of here because waves of radiation will hit any minute, and gives us a ferry ticket. Wow, maybe I misjudged him. He's not actually that bad. Let's get out of here then. Where is the ferry? Maybe that ranger being attacked by a radioactive dog will give me directions. I forgot this is a Pokemon game. We defeat it, the ranger thanks us and gives us directions. We walk off. Then we're jumped by some radioactive coral. We defeat them, then the ranger shows up again, says he's gonna travel with us to the ferry and make sure we're okay. Then runs off 5 seconds later when a nuclear Gyarados shows up. Wait, where did he get that hat from? It doesn't matter though, because we defeat the big fish. Sorry I ran away, I've never been so scared. What are you on about? You're a trained ranger, it's just a sea monster. What's to be scared of? Screw this, I'm going. Give the ticket to this guy, and now we can board the ferry. This guy says there's a room for us. Otherwise, we're free to explore the cruise. I think I'll go talk with the captain. Hello, little trainer. I don't like where this is going. I'm the captain of this ship, but I'm feeling a bit seasick. I heard back rubs help though. Good thing this ship has an autopilot. Theo's here too. He's sad because his dad was at the plant when it went into meltdown. He challenges us to a Pokemon battle because he thinks that might cheer him up. He also must think that he's fighting against someone who cares. We absolutely decimate him again. I refuse to lose on purpose to this child just because he's a little bit sad. After teaching Theo a valuable life lesson, the ferry docks and we can now continue on our journey. That was a nice cruise. Next stop, Vinnerville Town. It's on the other side of these fields. There's a nice little house here. I'm sure the owner won't mind if I just pop in and look around. I mean, it's a Pokemon game. They're probably not alien to people just randomly walking in. And she's too tired to talk. In that case, I'm sure she won't mind if we quickly just check the news. What is assumed to be the captain's charred corpse was found floating in the middle of the lake, and the local authorities are ruling it as a murder. I need to get out of here right now. After totally not missing a side quest at that house, we finally arrive at the little laid-back country town of Vinnerville Town. The local priest gives you a rare candy if you listen to him. Listen to me? And listen to me good, preacher man. This interaction goes the same way it did with the captain. His charred corpse isn't the only one they're going to be finding this month. The gym here's a steel-type gym, run by Sheldon, and with a name like Sheldon, you better believe he's an asshole. He runs a steel-type gym in this country town because he likes technology and hates how underdeveloped his hometown is. Uses his alien Pokemon to terrorize the locals at night. True story. And why doesn't he just leave? Why build a gym and become gym leader? A gym leader's government sanctioned? Is he assigned to work here? This gym is just a lawsuit waiting to happen. These walkways are nowhere near lit enough. Turn on the lights for the bridge in the middle. Hello, trainer. Do you think you have the metal to defeat me? Bazinga! I'm glad that's over with. Excuse me, Miss Uncool. We're with the Gym Leader Association. Have you seen a man named Sheldon? He's inside. Hello, sir. We need to ask you a few questions. Hey, what are you doing? You can't take that. That's my Pokemon. Sir, if you could just look here for a moment. A ranger shows up to tell us that Theo's waiting for us at the town entrance. Let me guess. We'll have to fight him? No. Actually, for once, no. He has some character development. Then the nearby nuclear power plant has a meltdown. The ranger from earlier shows up and saves us, flies us straight out of there on a giant bird. We rendezvous with everyone at Legend Town. They were all evacuated, but the reactor meltdown caused a bunch of nuclear Pokemon to pop up on a nearby route. This ranger says that due to the circumstances, they need to ask civilians for help. Nuclear Pokemon are weak to Steel-type Pokemon, so Sheldon steps up and says this is his chance to redeem himself. No, it's not! You used your Pokemon to harass a woman to the point where she couldn't sleep at night. Don't act like you don't remember. Uncool was strong enough to beat my gym. I can vouch for Uncool. Don't drag me into this! So now we head up here and meet with our father. Uncool, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to make things right, starting with protecting the people of this town. Okay. Oh, hi Uncool. I feel really bad putting you in danger like this, but I also want to see your Pokemon battling skills in action. I don't know whether I should be proud or upset that this ranger is more worried about me than my dad. I'm just choosing to think that my dad believes in me. Dad gives us a quick briefing about the radiation and how it's toxic, then gives us another briefing outside about how our goal is to subdue the nuclear Pokemon and rescue people who are in danger. This area is cool. Gives the player a chance to catch some nuclear Pokemon. But I didn't do that because I honestly couldn't be bothered. Keep walking and you'll run into the first Pokemon to rescue. Team up with our dad and defeat them. Rescue the Pokemon. Then we rescue some people. After defeating this Gligar and Ekans to save a mother and child, our dad's Pokemon start to feel ill from the radiation. And then we're attacked again. And because the leader of the Pokemon Rangers didn't bring any other Pokemon, it's up to us to save the day. We defeat the nuclear Pokemon, then leave. Thanks for the help there, Uncool. I don't think I would have pulled through without you. Maybe bring more Pokemon next time, Dad. I'm so glad. Seeing you with your Pokemon, fighting alongside you, it makes me wish I'd gotten to know you better before, Uncool. Well done. Thanks, Dad. After winning our father's love, he gives us the HM for strength and tells us to get to the next gym, we need to go die in a jungle. Well, technically it's a rainforest, and he also thinks we can handle ourselves. So we ride the subway back here, walk up here, and the entrance to the rainforest is right here. There's a stone blocking the entrance, but we use strength to push it out of the way. But I didn't realize that, so I walked all the way back to Legend Town, spoke to this guy, the Tinkerer. He gives us a boxing glove. Travel all the way back here, use the boxing glove. It doesn't work because it's not the right item. In the end, I had to teach my living bulldozer strength so I could move the rock so I could progress the game. Then when I tried to move it, this guy stopped me and wasted precious seconds. So fuck this area, I'm skipping to the town. Welcome to Armatry Town. Let's just take on the gym and get the hell out of here. The gym leader's not here. Turns out he went out the back for a smoke break, because he's the fire gym leader, and was carried off by some bugs. This guy saw everything. You'd think he'd be more worried, but are you forgetting where this game takes place? He gives us some bug spray. So now it's up to us to rescue the gym leader. The bugs live in something called the ant hell, which is probably where they've taken our guy. So we spray our way through the colony, ignoring the starving children being held here by the giant bugs. We don't care about them. They don't have a badge. Fall down here and end up in a big room full of bugs. The gym leader's also here, so we cut him down, but oh no, freeing him caused the bug queen to appear. The gym leader hides behind us, since all his Pokemon are knocked out. Also says not to even think of trying to catch it, because there's no chance. Screw you, I've made it all this way. I'll be the one who decides if this thing can be caught or not. So we catch the queen and drag it outside, where this guy tells us that it's afraid. Because we caught the queen, everyone celebrates. There's a big party, and then the gym leader gives us the badge while drunk. That was easy. Nothing left to do here, I guess. Onwards to the next town. What's he doing here? I swore he would have been eaten by bugs now. Says the professor gave him a HM to give us, but first he wants to battle. So we beat him, then he gives us the HM Surf. And none of my Pokemon can use it. There's some grass over there. Maybe I can catch a Pokemon that can. I completely forgot that was my plan, so 5 seconds later I have a lizard bird and a tiki monkey. This is gonna take forever. Finally, I'm out of there. Head back to Legend Town to fix up my party, then run to the daycare to pick up the 2 I dropped off there. Then I ran. I ran so far away. I ended up at Comet Cave. Now that we have Surf, we can find out what's over here. We push a rock out of the way. Then this lady runs past us. Says her name's Indiana, and she's here for the fossil. But we can battle her for 1 if we want. Obviously we do. So we decimate her team and take a fossil. Then she goes full Golem and says she's gonna stay down here forever with her fossil. But that's not our problem, so we leave. Actually, you know what? Fuck this. Hey, what are you doing? That's mine! Coatlith, Bullet Seed. I'll be taking that. At least this way, Dr. Jones. There'll still be a fossil in this cave for someone to find. Now we have both fossils. To get to the next gym, we have to go east. Use Surf. Start heading east. Then suddenly, you're jumped by surfing ninjas. This keeps happening the more east you go. They're fairly easy to beat. Just watch out for their boss, because he has the special ability to crash your game. Beat Theo, go to Comet Cave. Hey, what are you doing? Bullet Seed. Go here, resurrect Fossil, come back, save, fight all the way back to the boss again. After defeating him this time, he mutters something about something prophecy, something stronger than him, something, the ninjas are now yours to command. Then he just fucks off. Great, where's the next gym? Welcome to Vanessa City, the largest city in all of the Tandor region. 15 multi-story residences, the infamous Tipsy Tancoon pub, a large opera theater, and numerous luxury sea vessels set this destination apart culturally and architecturally. Rising from the depths of the Mascara Sea, these several islands, with long, stretching shorelines, have undergone an incredible feat of human and Pokemon ingenuity. This artistic metropolis holds nothing back in boasting their culture with vivid banners and seemingly living stone statues. Vanessa City, what are you waiting for? Come visit. Are you quite finished? Oh, yeah, sorry. It's a city based off Venice. It's pretty cool. Walked around for a bit. Met this graffiti rat in an alleyway. He gives me a recipe for Krabby a la Pokespy Max. I forgot my fake ID, so I can't get into the bar. And I don't have nearly enough money to rent or buy a place here. So let's just go get the badge. Fantasy City Gym is a psychic type gym located in this opera theater. Damn, they must have spent a lot of money on floor wax. So we slide our way to the gym leader, Gilbert, defeat him. Then, oh no, he wasn't actually the real gym leader. A trapdoor opens up and we fall down. This is the real gym leader, Rosalind. She gives us some speech about how hard it is being an actress or something. I don't know, I skipped most of it. Then we show her we're enough and she gives us the drama badge. It's not that hard to give people the awards they deserve. Insert clip of the Oscars or Emmys or something. We head back up here. Theo wants to battle. It's actually challenging this time. The only way to the next gym is to go through this cave system called the Labyrinth.
You remind me of the babe.
What babe?
The babe with the power.
What power?
Power of voodoo.
Voodoo?
You do.
Do what?
Remind me of the babe. Quiet! A goblin babe. Well, I saw my baby crying hard as babe could cry. What could I do? My baby's love had gone and left my baby blue. Nobody knew what kind of magic spell to use. Slime and snails, or puppy dog's tails, thunder or lightning. And baby said, dance, magic, dance, magic, dance, magic, dance, magic, dance.
Baby, spell on me.
Jump, magic, jump, magic, jump, magic, jump, magic, jump.
That magic jump on me. Slap that baby, make him free. Hey, what goes on? You motherfucker, walk away. Hey? Oh, yeah. Your mother is a fucking aardvark.
In 9 hours and 23 minutes, you'll be mine. I saw my baby trying hard as babe could try. What could I do? My baby's fun had gone and left my baby blue. Nobody knew what kind of magic spell to use.
Slime and snails, puppy dog's tails.
Thunder or lightning. Then baby said, dance, magic, dance, magic, dance, magic, dance, magic,
That
dance.
baby spell on me.
Jump, magic, jump, magic, jump, magic, jump, magic, jump.
That magic jump on me. Slap that baby, make it free.
Magic dance, 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 magic jump, magic jump, magic jump, magic jump. That baby spell on me.
A bunch of shit happens.
You have no power over me.
surf across the waters, and end up at Silverport City. Not much of note here aside from a Pokemon research lab. Guess I could check it out. The guy running it turns out to be an asshole who knew the professor in college, mentioned something about starting rumors that he was plagiarizing work. There's not much to do here. I guess I could talk to that cat-owl thing. So use the Pokemon speech translator on it. It tells us that the lab conditions are terrible and it's abused. The head researcher notices and we're surrounded. He offers $100,000 awesome rare Pokemon if we give it to him, but I already have those things, so I decline. Good thing he let us leave. I was fully ready to have my fire Pokemon turn him into a certain Pokemon protagonist. And he locks the door behind us. Anyway, now that's out of the way, we can continue. Really, guys? If you're gonna try and ambush me, at least put some effort in. Let's just fight and get this over with. Hey, don't take my Pokemon! What? Yes, that rag does smell like chloroform. Why do you ask? Oh. Those guys were actually a lot smarter than I gave them credit for. We wake up in a cell. The asshole is here. He's the one who kidnapped us. Shocker. Then he tells us about how he's in debt and his wife left him, and right now, as we speak, researchers are reverse engineering the Pokemon speech translator so they can sell it and further their research into subjugating Pokemon. And then maybe Linda will love him again. If he wanted to subjugate Pokemon, all he needed to do was ask. I could have told him the key is substance abuse, but he decided to kidnap us, so I ain't telling him shit now. Then he leaves. I'm not gonna take this lying down. Oh. There's nothing we can do, aside from go to bed. I'm taking this lying down, but I'm not happy about it. We wake up. Someone left us some bread and a note. The note says that he doesn't want to be an accessory to kidnapping, so there's a wall that we can break behind us, and also a code for some cells. So we break the wall. On the other side is just more cells, and that onion from before. We go over to this keypad and free him. You have freed me. I thank you, and as part of my warrior code, my life is now in your hands. My soul is yours. I am in your debt, forever, human. He thanks us. At least, I'm assuming that's what he said, because I don't speak Pokemon. Then we team up to escape this place. This door's locked, so the only way we can go is back to our cell. But I can't see any way out of... Garlic, what are you doing? So we're now able to leave our cell, beat this scientist guarding the exit, then this one on his coffee break, and now we have our Pokemon back. We walk out the door to leave, but forgettable evil scientist stops us. Stop right there! All of it! All of our notes on the Pokemon speech translator. Destroyed! Destroyed by that thing! I'm sick of treating you nicely because you're a kid. My Pokemon will destroy you, and your meddling monstrosity too! He decides he wants to fight us, and we utterly destroy him. So much so that he gives us back the PST, then flees the country. Says something about going to Kanto and joining a gang. But if he thinks we're even now, then he's sorely mistaken. Hello? Who is this? Sakaki. How are you? You! How did you get this number? Hey. Relax. Is that any way to talk to an old friend? We went our separate ways for a reason. I know. And I have no intention of dragging you back in. I just have a small favor to ask. I'm collecting on that debt you owe. Then, I'm out? For good? I won't call on you again. But you know you don't get out that easy. What do you want from me? I understand that you're the leader of a gang now. In Kanto. I'm not selling your product again. I have a kid now. I don't want that poison around. Relax. I'm calling about a man. A professor is seeking employment. He disrespected me, and I want you to deal with him. Are we clear, Giovanni? Yes, sir. Yes. Who? Yes, sir. Say my name. Heisenberg, mate. You're Arceus damn right. Okay, where was I? Ah, yes. So we sent Garlic to our box and healed up our Pokemon ready for the next gym. Let's keep going. Oh look, a Farfa. Let me catch him. Okay, I'm out of the cave. Where to now? Do I just keep heading up the mountain? So, turns out, climbing a mountain is harder than I thought, and Sadly, one of my Pokemon froze to death, which means I can add this little guy to the team. I just used some of the leftover blue from earlier, and now he's ready to take on the gym. Apparently, we're not the only one who's been using rare candies, because outside the gym, we run into Theo again, who went from looking like this to this by purchasing new clothes. But I'm not going to call him out on his obvious candy abuse because the gym is right there. This guy comes out and leads us inside. He then briefs us that this gym contains 5 trials to test us before we can take on the gym leader, but if we win, we get Mega Evolution. Cool. First trial, push rocks. Easy. Second trial, navigate a maze. Also easy. Third trial, push rocks. This time outside. Done. Fourth trial, walk on invisible platforms. A bit harder, but still doable. Fifth trial, defeat someone in a Pokemon battle.
Fall.
That was easy. After defeating this guy, he takes us to the final stage of the gym. Theo's also here. Because we both made it, we have to double battle the gym leader. Normally, teaming up with Theo would be annoying. So we step outside to face the gym leader together. Challengers! I heard you completed my trials, and now we meet at the rim of the sky. I am Veren, but my friends call me by my first name, Bjorn. So, what? You're a dragon-type gym leader called Bjorn? Yes, I am the Dragon Bjorn, Arbiter of Mega Evolution. And you must face me to prove you're worthy of receiving this power. Sorry to rain on your parade, dear, but I'm a main character. So we decimate him. Then he says we're worthy of getting Mega Evolution. I don't know how beating up a defenseless old man's pets qualifies us as worthy, but I have a badge and a bracelet now, so I'm not gonna complain. Theo then pulls a total Theo move and challenges us to a battle. After last time, I'm actually scared of losing, but my dinosaur manages to melt his hedge trimmer cat, which makes me think that last time I was actually supposed to lose to him. Like a little scripted confidence booster. Damn, Theo, even the game feels bad for you. Once Theo's beaten, we have to make our way all the way back down the mountain. But that's so much effort, so I have a better idea. Hey, Bjorn! What's this Pokemon? I'm not sure. It's a Furfro, yes? Oh, of course. It is Furfro. Yes. Could you maybe say that in a different way? Furfro, duh? Would you look at that? We landed all the way back down at Silverport Town. Max, did you really give him a Russian accent just so you could make that joke? Yes, I did. Down at the beach is this old man. He says the waters are swarming with pirates, but with a strong trainer like us aboard, then he can safely navigate us back to Venasi City. Obviously, we accept. Then he slips up, decides he can't salvage the conversation, and reveals that he is a pirate. Wasn't what I was expecting, but getting on a boat with a pirate is better than getting on a boat with an old man. Alone. Then this idiot decides to battle us. We win, and he swears that this day isn't the last day we'll see Pirate Jack, but I don't hear the last part because he falls off the pier. The actual owner of the boat shows up, thanks us, then gives us a lift back. From here, we just have to head south to the final gym. Navigating this route actually doesn't take too long. I even caught a few Pokemon. But at the end of it, we're stopped by Jack and another pirate. I'm totally ready to send them to a watery grave. But then the ninjas from earlier show up and deal with them for us. Now that the Naruto and One Piece fandoms are fighting, we can keep going to Tsukunami Village. I don't know if that reference works because I haven't seen either of those animes. At Tsukunami Village, we're greeted by some ninjas, and then we're allowed to look around the town. It has a museum with some cool statues. I talked to some old guy about delivering some letters. Eventually though, I remembered why I came here in the first place. This gym is themed around day and night. It has some pretty simple puzzles. You just have to make the white and black tiles perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Once we're done with that, this door opens to the final room. The gym leaders are this power couple, Hinata, who specializes in mostly grass-type Pokemon, and Kaito, who specializes in dark-type Pokemon. They also do the most insane lore dump ever, telling us about some ancient, brutal ninja clan war, which was ended when lovers from 2 clans came together. This time it didn't end up with them both dying. Quite the opposite actually, full-on reverse Shakespeare'd me, because instead, they became the mortal avatars for their god's will. Atius and Mutios. Basically Pokemon yin and yang. Also, mortal avatars? They said this happened 100 years ago, so technically, I don't think they're mortal anymore. Full Polar opposite of Romeo and Juliet's ending, like I said. And at this point, honestly, I don't know whether to believe them or not. Like, they live on a secluded island and are the leaders of 2 ninja clans that became one 100 years ago. That's enough time for them to start inbreeding, probably. But then I remembered, I don't care. I just want the badge. To get the badge, you have to beat them. Each. No double battling. I took on the dark type guy first, showed him his Pokemon were no match for the power of the literal sun that has become of my starter Pokemon. Then I challenged Hinata. This is going to be a pretty easy fight. Naturally, my team decimated hers. Then she brings out her Mega Whimsicott, which would have been cooler if cotton wasn't flammable. Wait, what? I got the badge, and they agreed not to press charges. I guess all I have to do now is... If I had a Pokédollar for every time a reactor went into meltdown after defeating a gym, I'd have 2 Pokédollars, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. Then the Rangers show up and tell everyone to evacuate. Once they've evacuated, this Ranger, who's the same one from earlier, says that our father is expecting our help at the power plant, and that he can give us a lift there if we want. So we fly to the power plant. Our dad, the professor, and Theo are already here when we land. So we defeat the nuclear Pokemon. That was easy. Then the reactor goes into a meltdown. Bullshit. It was actually the villain. The Uranium. Where is it? Who are you? We are Curie and Urane. Stand aside or face oblivion. This ranger tries his best by saying they're under arrest. Obviously it doesn't work, but still, good job for trying. Then Curie makes a reference to a beloved Valve game and the ranger's nostalgia kills him. They give a generic villain speech. We try to run away, but get stopped by nuclear Pokemon. Turns out they were being controlled by Urane. We all start succumbing to radiation poisoning. It looks like all hope is lost. Then a giant electric bird shows up, and it's being ridden by Cameron? I thought he was dead. Curie, this ends now. Impossible. We thought we killed you. That's what I'm saying. You thought wrong. I had the uranium removed from this power plant. It's over. I've been watching you and I found your weakness. Without fuel, you have no power. This was all a trap for you. And you walked right into it. Now you will pay for your crimes against Tandor. You might have the power of a legendary Pokemon on your side, but that doesn't mean you'll win. I have been watching you. I know your limits. When I defeat Urane, it will go dormant. After that, you will be powerless. Curie then reminds us they have an army of nuclear Pokemon, so they're not entirely powerless, and threatens to destroy Cameron. Theo, discarding all character development he's had so far, then decides to put himself between the floating atomic bomb and his dad's electric dragon, because he wants to help and doesn't want to lose his dad again. For haha, this boy, he is important to you, yes? His pain will cause you great suffering. Therefore, we will kill him right before your eyes. I think using nuclear weapons to kill a child breaks all sorts of conventions, but those aren't gonna stop Curie. Cameron jumps in the way to save Theo. At least, that's what I assume happened. The game didn't really animate this bit, it just kinda changed frames. Curie says to let this serve as a warning to anyone who crosses them, then fucks off to go find more uranium fuel elsewhere. Dad, you saved me. Yeah, he did, Theo, and now, because of you, we still have a few more hours of gameplay. For fuck's sake, I could have been a champion by now, with Curie in custody. Instead, you let the terrorist get away and your dad is dead. Then a ranger tells us he's not dead, so they fly him and Kellen to a hospital using Cameron's bird. We should probably follow them, so the professor then asks if we have the HM fly, which, as it turns out, he forgot to give us. You must be losing it in your old age, Pops. Theo, this is no time for jokes. Your father could have minutes to live. So he flies ahead. We talk with the professor about something so important that I cut it from the video. Then we follow Theo back to Beale Beach City. At the Ranger HQ, this ranger greets us and says that Cameron and our dad are in intensive care upstairs. So we go upstairs. Theo's dad's out cold, but Kellen is conscious. He says that he's now positive that Curie's behind all the nuclear meltdowns. You fucking think, Dad? He says that if we can find Curie and take him down, then Tandor is saved. But we have no leads to his location, so I guess we're screwed. Fortunately though, Cameron, sure of his son's reckless incompetence, had a note in the pocket of his jacket. The game never shows us Kellen finding the note, just him saying that he found it. So for all we know, it could be a shopping list and he's become delirious due to the radiation. Whatever. So Dad reads out the note. You all know me as Cameron Kane, but my real name is Cameron Stormbringer. No, it's not. I think I was right. He is delirious. Either that, or Cameron just wrote whatever, knowing we'd have to believe it while he's unconscious. Anyway, the rest of the note says he's an agent of Interpol, and he was investigating the island where our mother died when the reactor went into meltdown, and because of that, Interpol put him into early retirement, but he kept investigating the new power plant that was being built, and he discovered technical documents on creating artificial Pokémon, and right as he was about to send a report to Interpol, the island was detonated. He escaped and saw a figure emerging from the wreckage with a Pokémon and wearing the Curie interface from one of the documents. Blah blah blah, Uranium was on the island and the new nuclear fuel woke it up, blah blah blah. I can track their teleport signature. They've settled in the ruins of Power Plant Zeta. Oh, and also, Cameron somehow attached a small tracker to them before they teleported away. Fucking when? Is this character like the author? Cause what in the self-insert bullshit? These rangers show up and tell our dad that they traced the signal to where Cameron said, and they're ready to deploy. I wish I could lead this mission, but I get the point, Dad. He then gives us a speech about promoting us to full ranger status and how proud he is of us and how he wishes he could have been a better father. Thanks, Dad. Then he makes Theo a ranger too because there's no way he's letting me do a suicide mission alone. To get to the hazard zone, we have to take a boat. So we meet up with Theo, then ship off. Kellen checks in and then we get some nuclear balls. Cool. Now, where's that suit we were promised? What the fuck? What the fuck is that thing? What in the pyrocynical inflation shit is that? But then I remember it's better than dying, so I put it on and then step out into the hazard zone. And why doesn't Theo get a suit? All he gets is a mask. Actually, why am I complaining? Theo runs ahead, we run around catching and fighting nuclear Pokémon. When we catch up to Theo, he says he has something to show us. Over there is a cool Pokémon, but something about it looks suspiciously familiar. It gets startled and runs away. Then the camera pans back and... clever irradiated abominations. We team up with Theo and defeat them. He then says that those Pokemon were acting too coordinated, so we should keep going. Fight our way through more nuclear Pokemon. Up here we find Theo and that weird Pokemon from before. It runs into some trees, so we follow. In the middle of the trees is a clearing. Theo takes off his mask. The suit says it's safe and there's no radiation. That's strange. Turns out it's because this guy Harold turned into a tree. No, sorry, wrong game. It's because of these Pokemon. Hazma. They purified the radiation from the surrounding area. That's cool, but like, where did they come from? The game doesn't have all the answers, but I have a hypothesis. An entertainment hypothesis. Hello Internet and welcome to Entertainment Hypothesis. Pokemon Uranium definitely has a lot of weird and unique Pokemon designs, but this one, Hazma, is by far the most interesting. You see, it's fairly well established that Pokemon are animals, in most cases. So what kind of animal is Hazma? In an ecosystem, animals adapt to fill niches, and Hazma's ability to remove the radiation from areas is a very unique and specific niche. In fact, for a Pokemon like this to have such an ability, it would be necessitated by a highly radioactive environment. Considering that the reactors only recently went into meltdown, I find it hard to believe that this Pokemon only recently adapted to suit its nuclear landscape. So Max, I hear you say, Hazma must have already existed. Case closed. Wrong, dear viewer. I refuse to believe that a creature like this existed already and with such a specialized ability without the environment it resided in being radioactively contaminated. So what is hazmat? Well, its design and name obviously are inspired by hazmat suits, the kind people might wear while working on a nuclear reactor. It's already established in the Pokémon universe that legendaries like Ho-Oh are capable of resurrection. The legendary dogs are proof of that, but also that humans can be turned into Pokémon, as shown in Detective Pikachu and that one episode of Pokémon where Ash gets turned into a Pikachu, meaning that it can easily be concluded that hazmat are the scientists and workers from the nuclear power plants, fused into their suits and warped by the radiation, or divine intervention, turned into Pokémon to atone for their sins, as only Arceus should have the power to create life. And these scientists, who tried to create an artificial Pokémon all those years ago, paid for their hubris, and then were somehow transported to a completely different power plant than the one that went into meltdown originally. I don't know, maybe they can fly? This means that the Pokémon we're forcing into servitude were people, their masked faces unable to scream or cry out as they're forced to do our bidding. But wait, if these scientists were punished for trying to create an artificial Pokémon, does that mean that the existence of Mewtwo proves that he is made in God's image, the chosen Poké-son of Arceus? This, my friend, is a question I shall answer in another video, though I think you already know the answer. So we catch one, then leave, call Dad, and he says that we can use them to fix this place up. Neat! But Curie is still at large, so we keep going to the reactor, fight our way through more radioactive Pokémon, and we're here. Theo seems to be struggling a bit from the radiation. Kellen calls again and says that Theo should come back because we're the one with the suit. Then the radiation starts rising, and the radio loses its signal. Uranium shows up, and we black out. We wake up in some abandoned facility. The suit is keeping us safe from the radiation, but it's losing power, and we can't radio for help because something is blocking the signal. So our first order of business is finding a power cell. We wander around for a bit, find these switches, have no idea how to use them though. After more pointless wandering, we find some notes with an order for the switches. Walk back here, flip them on. Now that the power's back on, the door unlocks, and we can leave. Still haven't found a power cell though. Maybe some of the surrounding buildings have one. This creature up here runs off in that direction. Sounds like a good a place as any to start. Took one step and got jumped by a cockroach. Named it Fallout for obvious reasons. That weird Pokemon ran into this building, so we follow. Stumble around in the dark for a bit, then get surrounded by them. Xenomite? Damn, that thing glows. It's probably really radioactive. When I get back, I should really talk to HR. A Geiger counter other than the one in the suit would be useful. I catch them and their evolution, who I named Ripley, turn the light on, then fight our way through a room of nuclear Pokemon to get a power cell. We put it in the suit. Now that it's charged up, it tells us that Curie and Urane are in the north sector. It also activates the strength protocol. Cool. I'm guessing purely because Pokemon logic that the reactor door is locked and we need to follow the other path to unlock it. What did I tell you? Now that the power's back on, we can enter the reactor. But first, use the strength protocol to move all these rocks out of the way because Curie is a cartoon villain or something. I don't know, why else would these rocks be here? The suit says that beyond this door is intense radiation, and once we walk through there is no turning back. Seriously, how bad can it be? The radiation begins to wear down the suit's shields the second we step inside. We have roughly 5 minutes to find Curie and stop them. Oh shit, this is intense! Oh hey, it's Curie and Urane.
Foolish child, blah blah blah, I'm evil, blah blah blah, the Rangers will meet my demands. If I have their leader's daughter, blah blah blah, I'm torturing your friend in a tube.
It was a bit more epic than that, but I summarized it because they already did an epic speech earlier, and I really don't care. Also, they Evangelion'd Theo, so I'm gonna battle them. Now, it is at this point I would like to talk about the bad ending to Pokemon Uranium. If you lose this fight against Curie, then you get the bad ending. She screams about, "I am become death," and there's some text saying how the whole of Tandor is irradiated. Now originally, I was going to get this ending as a joke, and then end the video. But then, I got beaten anyway. So I was like, fuck this, I'm not gonna next time. But oh no. It gets worse. The game sends me back to the last place it saved. And where did I save it last? Back when Theo was still with us! meaning I had to do that all again. Got back to the point I was, got a migraine. Last time I was seriously underleveled, not making that mistake again. We defeat Uranium. It turns into its smaller form, but unluckily it still has enough power for it and Curie to escape. We free Theo, then go back to the Rangers HQ. Apparently we're now heroes and the whole of Tandor knows about us defeating Curie. Go downstairs and talk to the professor. He shows us how the Hazma we caught are being used to cure the nuclear Pokemon. That's cool. He also reminds us that since we got all the badges, we can take on the Pokemon Championship now. Well, it's not like I had anything else to do. To get to the championship, we have to travel Victory Road, like most other Pokemon games. It's an area with cool Pokemon and fun, interesting puzzles. Would you look at that, we're here! After the professor and our dad tell us they'll be cheering us on, Theo arrives late, meaning we can finally enter. Our whole journey has been building to this moment, and I was confident in my team. After all we'd been through, I knew we could win. What the fuck was that? I lost in the 3rd round, but because we saved the whole region, we get to try again. Finally end up in the final round, which is held in an active volcano, and face off against Theo. Or not. This Pokemon jumps out from behind this lava, and the volcano starts to erupt, so everyone runs away, leaving us to deal with it. Upon beating it, Bjorn shows up again, tells us that this is the legendary Pokemon Actan, and that his gym on the mountain is above Actan's brother, Lanthan, and along with Heatran, they make up the Brothers of Metal. He also says that sometimes acolytes can speak to Lanthan in dreams, so he tries asking Actan why he left his lair at the center of the mountain, which is apparently a really bad thing. Actan wakes up, absorbs all the radiation, and now Bjorn is having a conversation with him. I would say I'm hallucinating due to heat stroke, but after everything I've seen, this is probably real. Dragon Bjorn says that another legendary Pokemon overwhelmed Actan with radiation and then commanded him to attack the arena. Actan then asks to join our party, and we let him, because I mean, look at him! Right after, Curie attacks us again. Turns out the core of the mountain was pure uranium, and they needed it to sustain their hunger or something. It was a long speech, and at this point I was too bored to care. The radiation spikes, our dad says he loves us and believes in us, and then, since we're the only one with a radiation-proof suit, we're left to fight Curie. Again. Curie says how we're just a pawn being used by our friends, and to look at how they abandoned us. I completely agree, but this game doesn't have an option for that. Then there's a blinding flash, so consuming the uranium from the mountain's core turned Urane into its final form, Gamma Urane. Curie says the thing, I am become death. Then we fight. With Actan by our side, we win. Only took 2 hits. Urane shrinks back down to its alpha form, Curie's mask breaks, and then Actan jumps in the radioactive lava and everything turns back to normal. Now let's see who Curie is. It's our mum? Well, obviously. It's not like that's a big reveal. If they were going for shock factor, they should have made Curie just a random guy. Like, all this build-up and hints just for us to be completely wrong and our mother actually being dead. Kellen is obviously shocked. Then Cameron says he kinda knew all along and didn't tell anyone because our mum was involved in the experiments to create Urane. Something that fucking Interpol, was monitoring. Also, the helmet was what made her go insane. It linked her and Urane's minds, so she conveniently doesn't have to pay for her crimes. And since I'm pretty sure we can't prosecute Pokemon, no one is going to be held responsible for all this terrorism. Also, she hasn't aged because she was in a tank like the one Theo was in. Kellen flies her out of there to get medical attention because she still hasn't woken up yet. To me, it looks like a case of uranium fever. Uncool, can we please leave before you start singing? Then the gang turns to leave, but the volcano starts shaking again, and Actan, and a now smaller Urane, leap out of the lava. Urane uses telepathy to communicate and says that Actan helped it, and its fear and hunger is now gone as Actan gifted it with eternal energy. The professor then says that Actan is the legendary Pokemon that created all radioactive metals, so it must have shared some of its power with Urane. Cameron then explains how Urane's biggest design flaw was its need to consume radioactive material to sustain itself, but because Actan gave him a self-sufficient power source, he should be fine. So this whole time it was motivated by a fear of death. Huh. This is all starting to sound a bit too real for me. Also, unlimited energy. We're just gonna gloss over that? Apparently yes, because Uranium shows us exposition in the form of a flashback. Basically, it was alone until our mum interfaced with it. She found out it was conscious, kept talking to it. Then the higher-ups decided to can the whole project because Uranium was never meant to have a mind. It was just meant to be a machine. But since it was alive, Lucille wasn't going to let them kill it. Then someone triggered a remote detonator for the reactor, without telling anyone. Just to tie up this loose end. So Lucille ran down, sealed the room, and then jumped into the stasis tank with Uranium so that they would both survive. Years later, we woke it up. It thought all humans wanted to destroy it, but it knows this isn't the case now, so can it please travel with us? And just like that, Uranium joined our party. Then Acton says how he deems us worthy, and we are welcome to come find him and challenge him. Cool. Theo then forfeits the final round, saying we deserve it more than him, and we get crowned champion, put our Pokemon in the Hall of Fame, then the credits roll. Shout out to all the fan artists and concept artists. What a happy ending. Except I wasn't done that easily, so I went and captured Acton and Lanthan. Then I decided I wanted to catch the legendary sea monsters, but turns out their questline isn't finished. So you want to know what I did? I caught them anyway, as well as Mutios and Artios, and also a Zephyr for good measure. Just to once again remind you, the viewer, that I am in fact just better, and that's the Pokemon Uranium experience. Okay, so first I would like to apologize for how long this video took. A little over 3 years on and off working on it because obviously I had to prioritize like college and uni and other stuff, which I still do. So not sure when the next video is going to be, but obviously this video was inspired by Killian experience. And it looks like it's not the only thing inspired by Killian experience because his upload schedule is also just whenever he feels like it. So, more videos soon, and I may have hidden a reference to the next game I'm gonna do a video on in this video. So, rewatch it if you enjoyed it. Or even if you didn't, it has layers.